Devin Booker, congratulations. Although, if I were you, I'd still have a chip on my shoulder. Devin Booker will now be an all-star just about 24 hours after the Suns guard was snubbed on Tuesday, not named or reserved for the game. Commissioner Adam Silver announced that Booker would replace the injured Anthony Davis. Booker right now averaging almost 25 points per game, more than 4 assists, almost 4 rebounds, shooting a career-high 50.1% from the field. Why didn't he make it the first time? Well, LeBron James, he wanted to know that. This was the tweet loudly heard across the NBA when Booker wasn't announced as reserved on Tuesday. From captain of the Western Conference team, LeBron James, Devin Booker is the most disrespected player in our league. Simple as that. All right, so here are now officially, unless anything else changes, the Western Conference All-Star reserves. There you can see Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker's teammate, Chris Paul, Paul George, Zion, and Rudy Gobert. Zion with the only first time he's been selected as an All-Star. All right, to talk about the upcoming All-Star game, all things NBA, former NBA champion Rip Hamilton. All right, Rip, let's start with Devin Booker. This is the second time he will be an All-Star. It is also the second time he will be an All-Star because of somebody else's injury. But this kind of feels like a guilty invitation to the party, Rip.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Devin Booker, I'm highly upset because, one, in previous years when he's been playing really, really great basketball, only thing people can say was, hey, the Phoenix Suns haven't been winning games. This year, they're 20-10. He's shooting at a high clip, career high from the field goal percentage, still averaging close to 25 points a game. And we got to remember, I know everybody want to give a lot of praise to Chris Paul, especially with their early success of the season. But you got to remember, this Phoenix Suns team has been balling ever since the bubble. They didn't lose a game in a bubble, and a lot of that had to do with Devin Booker. Yes, he had to make sacrifices this year because now you add Chris Paul to this team, and now he doesn't have to be on the ball and play the point guard position as usually as he had to do last year. But I still think he's one of the most effective guards in the game, a top 3 guard, in my opinion, in the NBA. So he should be mad. He should be pissed off. And I'm happy that, Adam Silver made it right. Anytime LeBron James comes out and says, hey, this guy is the most disrespected guy in the league, you don't usually hear that from a guy that plays on the opposing team.
Yeah, absolutely. Even more fire for him now. All right, so Devin Booker was the biggest snub there in the West. I want to know your biggest snub in the East, which is still out there.
I would have to say Sabonis. I mean, when you look at his stats, they're actually better than they were last year. He's averaging 2 more points higher than he was last year. He's a big part of this Indiana Pacers roster. When he struggles on his team, the Indiana Pacers usually lose that basketball game. I think he's a guy that's well-deserved. You look at the Indiana Pacers, they're still right there in the middle when you're talking about the Eastern Conference, 4th in the East. But think about this, Amanda. He is the first guy in NBA history to average 20, 10, and 5 and not make the All-Star game. So I believe he should be a guy that puts one of them NBA All-Star jerseys on.
All right, let's go back to the West since the Devin Booker situation has been remedied there. Was there another snub out there?
Well, I mean, I was like everybody else. It was Devin Booker. But if I had to name another guy, I would say DeMar DeRozan. Not saying that the guys that made it, I have to take somebody off. But I think DeMar DeRozan has played great basketball for this San Antonio Spurs team. Nobody expected them to be in a playoff race. Everybody thought they were going to be in a more of a rebounding year. The guy's still averaging close to 20 points. The thing that I'm most impressed with him is his passing ability. He came into the NBA more of a shoot-first type of guard, guy that really was able to create his own shot and be able to get buckets at a high clip. Now he's added a new wrinkle to his game, and that's giving the ball up, averaging 6.9 assists a game. He will be the guy that I would say that if they had a 13th spot, he will be it.
Rip, last night we knew going into it, at least a lot of us had a feeling, it wasn't looking good for the Lakers, and sure enough, that came true. The Lakers fall to the Jazz. Not just that, the Jazz crushed them, absolutely crushed them, 114-89. And for so long, everybody's been like, oh, the Jazz, yeah, they're good. Okay, this is great, but at some point, they'll stop being good. This is not happening, Rip Hamilton. Is it time, or is it beyond time to consider them a realistic threat in the West?
Hey, man, I always scratch my head on this. I mean, listen, they're doing it by committee. They're playing together as a team. They're shooting the ball at a high clip from the three-point line. Donovan Mitchell's been playing at an all-star level. Rudy Gobert's been doing a good job of holding down the paint. But do I believe that they can beat someone like the Los Angeles Lakers in the playoffs, or the Los Angeles Clippers, or even making it to the finals and beating somebody like the Brooklyn Nets? No, I just don't believe in them. I think that, you know what? One, they're a team that's been playing really great basketball, and a lot of teams haven't been playing great just because of COVID. It could be the fans in the arena. It could be a lot of different things. But I just think that this is a great regular season team. They're playing great basketball right now. But I don't look at them as being a contender, not even a top 3 or top 4 team in the NBA right now, even though they've been playing great basketball.
So do they kind of remind you maybe of the Nuggets a couple years ago when they had the best record there in the West, but then, you know, when it comes to the postseason and stuff, they just fall short?
Well, a little different. I think when I looked at the Nuggets, I blamed it on their youth. They had a lot of great players, but they were all under 25 years old. They really haven't made their name in the NBA. They haven't been used to the playoffs. This team's a little different. I mean, they do it by committee. They're a very unselfish team. They're shooting the ball really well from the three-point line. I just don't know if they have enough to contend with, like I said, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Clippers, the Brooklyn Nets, even the Milwaukee Bucks. I still don't believe that this team is better than any of the teams I just named.
All right, NBA trade deadline exactly 1 month from today. Reports the 76ers are starting to eye a big move, Rip. They are still the #1 team in the East, but just barely above the Nets, and that could change any day. So a veteran perimeter shot creator is the piece they lack, and Kyle Lowry's name has been thrown out there. Do you like him for the 76ers? If not, is there something else you think they should do?
Well, if I had to pick one guy, I would have to say Bradley Beal. But we all know that the Washington Wizards are not going to give up on Bradley Beal, especially in the middle of the season, especially after they've been winning a couple games in the past week. But I do think a guy like Kyle Lowry would definitely help this ball club. The reason why is you still need a legit, solid, feisty point guard that comes in with championship on his back. He's a guy that understands how to win. They need him most importantly in the half-court offense. I think that the 76ers really get stagnant in a half-court offense, especially when teams double-team Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons still is not a great perimeter shooter. So if you add a guy like Kyle Lowry, you can still have Ben Simmons on the floor, maybe play him at the 4 position, still let him handle the ball for most of the time. But I think Kyle Lowry brings toughness. He brings a winning attitude. He's a veteran. Even though he's 34 years old, he understands how to win. And he's still a guy that you still got to respect from a perimeter aspect and from a shooting aspect. So I think it would be a huge plus for the 76ers if they can add him to their roster.
All right, again, that trade deadline and just 1 month away from today. Rip Hamilton, thanks so much. We'll check in with you soon. All right, NBA games tonight, both the 76ers and the Nets play. We'll see what happens there. The 76ers hosting the Mavs. Now the Mavs, they've been on a hot streak, winning 6 of their last 7. 76ers still a 4.5-point favorite. And no matter how good Zion is playing, the Bucks still a 9-point favorite over the Pelicans.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.